I walked by a place that said you could do breakfast anytime. So I went in and said I want to do Belgian waffles in the 14th century. Hey guys, I'm Isaac Harrigal for Geeks on Tap, and today we're in beautiful downtown Austin at Mort Subite Belgian Beer Bar. And today we're going to be talking about Belgian beers. Also, real quick, shout out to Stephen Wright for writing that joke that I probably screwed up at the top of this episode. So what are Belgian beers? Well, first off, Belgian beers are from Belgium, so there's that. But also, Belgian beers have an incredible amount of depth and complexity to them. They're very yeast-forward beers, right? And due to differences in the particular yeast strains that they use, malts, water sourcing, all of that combines together to make an incredibly complex body of beers. So we're going to start with one of my personal favorite styles and also one of my personal favorite beers made in the world. This is Brasserie Dupont's Saison du Pont. Saison is French for season. Now, these beers were developed pretty much for the workers to drink during harvest season. They tend to be lower alcohol, generally between like 6.5%, 7.5%. So these beers were originally wild fermented. So basically they make the wort of the beer and then they would let it rest and then it would ferment over the summer time. So these tend to be lower alcohol and they also evoke a lot of what you would think of as harvest season. So you get notes of straw and hay. In the particular case of Saison du Pont, you get little subtle notes of banana, bubblegum, and then also a really lovely like black pepper undertone to them. These beers are good for champagne drinkers. They tend to be a little bit higher carbonated. A lot of Belgian beers are sweet. Saisons tend to be not super sweet. They tend to be a little bit drier and a little more grassy. Brasserie du Pont. Saison du Pont is one of my personal favorite expressions of the style. Oh, shit damn. These beers tend to be very approachable for a lot of people. Whenever I'm at my bar, I like to give it to people who enjoy champagne, because again, they tend to be a little bit drier, a little bit more kind of bitter on the back end. And again, you get those lovely notes of pepper and hay. If you can find this beer around, I personally believe it's one of the best saisons you can get in the United States from Belgium. Now we're going to move on to Belgian Tripels, or triples, however you want to say it. Basically, these beers were developed by Belgian monks back in the early 1910s to 1920s. What they did was they decided to invent a trick called putting pure candy sugar in the beer during fermentation. So basically what that leaves you with is a light-bodied, slightly fruity beer featuring the Belgian yeast strain that also will get you drunk. Basically, these beers start at about 8% and they go up to about 10% or more. Now with these guys, you get more notes of a lot of white fruit. You get some, depending on the yeast strain, you get some mango, you get some banana, and sometimes you get some floral notes, or like this guy where you get just a ton of caramel. Man, that's really lovely, but it's also, these tend to be a little bit on the sweeter side. This one in particular has an alcohol burn on the back end. So this is the Straffe Hendrik von Halve. This brewery in Bruges. This one is almost like if I was a child and I wanted to make a beer, that's the beer I would have made like as an 8-year-old. It's very sweet. There's a little bit of carameliness to it. It does have some alcohol burn on the back end. It clocks in at about 8.5%, as most of the Belgian Tripels do. Also, weird little fun fact, most Tripels have the devil associated with them, weirdly enough. Real Brewing makes Devil's Backbone, for instance, and Duvel, one of the classical examples of the style, literally means devil. But now we're gonna move on. All right, guys. Now we're moving into the big boys. This is a Belgian Quadrupel, or a Quadrupel, or just Quad, if that's what you want to call it. The easiest way to say it is that these are basically the imperial stouts of the Belgian variety. These guys tend to be a lot more darker malts in there, and the Belgian yeast strain gives you big fruity notes. In particular, this one, St. Bernardus AB 12, that's ABT 12, which is only 10%, weirdly enough. It's the metric system. This guy here tends to give you notes. I always get a lot of big fig, plum, dates, and also you get some nuttiness to them. And the alcohol content definitely comes in on the back end. And much like an imperial stout, especially if it's been aged in a barrel, You can sit on these beers for a minute and let them warm up, and you're going to get more depth and complexity from them as they go on. Because they're such higher alcohol, as a lot of Belgian beers are, they're not meant to be just like sloughed down. These are beers you can sit and appreciate and think about and enjoy in a slightly different manner. Also, this beer was brought to you by Belgian monks. Who says Christianity didn't do some good things? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed our little mini trip to mini Belgium. As always, you can go to the store and kind of figure it out for yourself, or talk to one of the guys who works there, or you can plan a trip to beautiful downtown Austin and come visit our friends like Colin at Mort Subite on Congress Avenue. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to us on social media. I'm Isaac Harrigal. This is Geeks on Tap. And remember, your next beer is on us. Cheers. Cheers. Cheers.